Hey everyone! In this video, we will talk about array and object destructuring. Destructuring is a cool feature that came along with ES6 that allows you to extract values from arrays or objects and assign them to variables in a more concise way. Let's try an example where we swap the values of two variables. Start by making a variable called x using the let keyword and give it any number, let's say 1. Make another variable named y and put 2 in it. Now, I want to swap the values of x and y, meaning I want to put 2 in x and 1 in y. First, let's do this in the traditional way. Create a new variable called swap and put the value of x in it. After that, make x take on the value of y. And assign the swap variable to y. So, y gets the value of swap. This new variable swap helps us exchange the values of x and y. Now, let's check what values x and y have. I will use the console log to show the values of the x and y variables. Initially, x had the value 1, but now it's 2. The y variable has a value of 1. This is how we typically switch variable values using the traditional method. Now, we'll do the same thing using destructuring. Just use square brackets. In the brackets write x, and y. And set them equal to y, x. This means that the first value becomes the value of y, and the second value becomes the value of x. Destructuring saves us from having to perform the same task over and over again. Let's talk about another example where we switch elements in an array. Make an array called numbers using square brackets and put any values in it. I want to have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in it. Now, I want to swap the first value with the fourth value. Use square brackets and put the value at index 0, then a comma, and the value at index 3, which is 4. Set it equal to the value at index 3 in the numbers array, and the value at index 0. Let's show the array using the console log. You'll notice that now 4 is in the first position, and 1 is in the fourth position. Now, let's move on to the third example, which involves array destructuring. We'll continue using the same array. If I want to give names to the items in the array, it's quite simple. First, we will do without using destructuring. Just create a variable called firstNumber and assign the value at index 0 to it. Similarly, create another variable called secondNumber and assign the value at index 1 to it. To see the results, in the console log remove numbers and write here firstNumber. We need one more console log for the second number. You'll see 1 and 2 on the console. This is how you can name the items in an array. Now, let's remove these two lines and proceed. Now, let's do the same thing using the destructuring method. Use square brackets, and here you can give names to the elements. If I write first, then a comma, second, and third, set them equal to the name of the array, which is numbers. The first name will be assigned to the value 1, the second name to the number 2, and so on. Print all these names in the console. First, second, and third. We've successfully given names to the first 3 elements of the array. Now, let's talk about 2 important aspects related to array destructuring. First, let's discuss skipping values in an array. What happens if I remove second from here? We don't need this second console log, remove it from here. We end up with one missing value. The first name will be assigned to 1, and then we skip the name with a comma. The third name will be assigned to the third element of the array. Let's go back by pressing Ctrl+Z. Next, let's discuss assigning the rest of an array. If I write 3 dots, and then a new name, let's say other numbers, and print it using the console log, the remaining elements of the array will be assigned to other numbers as an array. Moving forward, keep in mind that square brackets are used for array destructuring, and curly braces are used for object destructuring in JavaScript. Let's talk about the fourth example where we'll look at object destructuring. First, we need an object named person. Pay attention to the object name, since it's an object, I write person in lowercase. In this person object, I can take the person's first name, which is Elon. After that, the last name will be Musk. We need one more property, age, and the person's age is 30. If I want to get data from this object and assign it to new variables, it's straightforward. Just write the name of the variable and then equals. To access the first name, I can do that by writing person.firstname. After that, last name equals person.lastname. And for the age, equals person.age. Now, let's show these variables using the console log. Console log for first name, console log for last name, and log for age. This will display all the details of the person. Here, we wrote 3 lines of code to assign details to new variables. Let me demonstrate that you can achieve the same result in a single line with destructuring. Let's remove those 3 lines. Start with the const keyword, then curly brackets. Inside, write the variable names, first name, last name, and age. Set them equal to person. You'll get the same output. What if I comment on the person's age? You'll notice it shows undefined in the place of age because we didn't define an age. We can set a default value for age. Let's store 25 as the age. Now, in the console, it shows 25. If I use age 30, it displays 30. This means if we set a value at the time of destructuring, it will be considered the default value. Did you notice that I used the same names we used in the object? If I write name 1 instead of first name, you'll see an error in the console. If you want to change the variable names to ones of your choice, you can do that. Just add a colon with first name, and now you can define a new name for first name. Let's say name 1. For last name, its new name will be name 2. And for age, personage. Still, there's an error on the console. Let's change all the names in the console log. Alright, it displays the details of the person with the new name. Let's talk about the next example of destructuring function parameters. We'll use the same person object. Let's create a function, its name will be personDetail. And pass 2 values as parameters. Pay attention to the curly brackets. Whenever you work with object destructuring, use curly brackets. If you're working with array destructuring, use square brackets. The first parameter will be first name, and the second one will be age. Use console log for first name. And again console.log for age. Now, it's time to call this function. The function is named personDetail, and the object's name is person. We got the first name and age of the person. In this way, you can use object destructuring as function parameters. JavaScript Destructuring is a feature that allows you to extract values from arrays or objects and assign them to variables in a more concise way. If you find it helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos.